for Randy Ray in his second season with the Weber State Wildcats, former assistant to Stu Morrill. And Randy Ray has been charged with taking this program to the next level. He already did a pretty good job of it last year after he turned a previously losing season into a winning season last year.
They won the Big Sky. They tied for the regular season title, then got the tournament bid, and the Aggie coaches were on the road when all that was happening, hanging on every game. These two programs, these two coaching staffs are very close.
Well, there's no question they're very competitive, and you look at the Wildcat fans here. By the way, this is the 30th anniversary of the D Event Center here in Logan, in Ogden. And Craig, I know that makes us dated because we both remember when it opened.
You know, and I remember coming to this place when rarely there were very many empty seats in those early days. And Neil McCarthy's years, they had great teams, of course, and great following here.
Well, there are some empty seats here tonight, but nevertheless, it is still a pretty good home floor. When you come in as a visiting team to play in the D Event Center, you better strap it on because the purple can be overbearing, and there's plenty of it here present tonight. Utah State dressed in the visiting dark blue with white trim, and there's a look at Weber in the home white trim in blue, and we are just about ready to get underway. Veteran officiating crew tonight, by the way, Craig. We've seen these guys before. John Weeks, Bernie Haskins, and Scott Harris are the three men who will take charge of this basketball game. Wilkinson will jump center against Valeika, and we'll be ready to get underway. And tossing it up, veteran official John Weeks is one of the real characters in the officiating crew. Always an exciting time when he works a game. He's a guy who knows the game and knows how to control it, especially a high-pitched one like this as the tip is controlled by the Aggies. Clark will bring it into forecourt. Van Brocklin picks him up defensively. J.C. Carroll, he's got to get his touch as he goes inside. The ball is knocked out of bounds. Possession maintained by the Aggies.
So Desmond Harris, of course, gets the early call. 6'1" senior out of Fort Worth. He's a combo guard for Weber State, and his job right now is 100% J.C. Carroll.
Shadow him as Carroll gets the outside shot away, and the rebound comes off to Weber State. They'll run. Harris to the lane with a left-handed scoop and a whistle and foul call. Foul is on number 55, Gary Wilkinson. And that's the first, and of course, the first team foul. Harris showing no reluctance to take it right to the rim.
Yeah, and this follows Utah State getting one shot at the basket. That's one of the early keys for Randy Ray, rebounding, and he allowed just one shot at the other, and then Weber ran.
And Harris misses on that first free throw attempt. Desmond Harris now with the second. His crowd is on its feet, and now Harris scores. And there's a look at that officiating crew we talked about. John Weeks, Scott Harris, and Bernie Haskins. Carroll on the outside. To Clark. They'll move the ball around. The Aggies will look inside, and the little hanger is blocked. The foul is whistled. Foul spotted by Bernie Haskins. Number 11, foul called on Valeika. Martyrus Valeika with his first personal foul.
Valeika coming down to help defensively, and he got a hand, they say, on the arm of JC in the act of shooting, and so Carroll, good free throw shooter, goes to the line.
And Carroll with the first conversion. Carroll with the second shot. So J.C. Carroll, who has enjoyed his time in this building, shot very well in his previous time here in the building. And J.C. Carroll approaching some team milestones tonight. We'll get to those a little later in the broadcast.
Here's a trademark of Utah State under Stu Morrill, that three-quarter court press, and they fall back into that matchup zone, and you'll see Randy Ray do that too.
Ray, the Stu Morrill disciple, among others. Randy Ray with an extensive assistant coaching career. Silveda, contact is taken and no call is made, and Harris shoots the three and hits it. Desmond Harris has all four of the points for the Weber State Wildcats.
Utah State the other night in their first game, the key about it against Southern Utah was great defense. As the Aggies offensively were not that strong the other night against Roger Reed's team.
The Outside shot draws nothing for Gary Wilkinson, and look out, here come the Wildcats again, pushing the tempo. They would like to get some early offense. We talked about their lack of size comparatively in the pregame show. They will negate some of that by early offense. Panos with 2. And it's a 6-2 Wildcat lead.
Well, there's Panos, a guy, a backup last year, played a little bit of basketball at Weber State, is out of Highland High School, doing a nice job against Wilkinson.
Stolen by Van Brocklin. Harris another 3. This one rims out, but there's Valeika with a rebound over Wilkinson inside. And a timeout, a 30-second timeout has been taken. Let's take a look at the keys to the game for this one, Craig. It's a 30-second timeout that's been taken on the floor. And our keys to the game brought to us by the Larry H. Miller dealerships. After all, you know this guy for Weber State.
How fortuitous is that? We say rebounding, and that's Valeika just getting an offensive rebound and putting it back up. And Stu Morrill won't put up with that. Contain J.C. Carroll is obvious. He's the key to the Aggie offense, of course. And the experience factor. When you look at the rosters of these two teams, Randy Ray has more guys that have played more basketball than Stu Morrill does. Stu's got 10 new players, basically, on his roster.
So an 8-2 lead now by the Weber State Wildcats. As Utah State scratching his head just a little bit. This is a building similar to the Spectrum in Logan where a game can get away from you very quickly if you're not careful, and both these coaches know that all too well.
Last night in Logan, Roger Reed's Southern Utah team got 13 offensive rebounds against the Aggies. You just don't do that in the Spectrum against Stu Morrill's team.
Desharm fouled as he goes to the basket. Silveda with his first personal foul as we look at this on the replay again.
Yeah, there's Wilkinson firing it to Ducharme, who got all tied up because he was slapped across the wrist. And so Ducharme will go to the free throw line. Steve Ducharme, who is playing the position he's more accustomed to, the 4 spot, about a 65% free throw shooter last year.
He buries the first one. Ducharme into the scoring column now for the Aggies.
Aggies can't keep trading free throws for field goals and stay in this game.
And the second one rebounded by Valeika off the miss. Quickly into forecourt again, the Wildcats, and they want to go down deep, and they do. This will be a good battle inside. Panos over Ducharme. See Panos with his second field goal of the night, and it's 10-3 Weber State. Clark against Van Brocklin in forecourt, and another whistle as Ducharme comes to the high post, and an offensive foul spotted underneath. Foul committed by Ducharme, his first personal foul.
Coming into this game, Steve, if you looked at it from a Utah State perspective, you think our inside guys, our baseline players have got to have a better game than their counterparts from Weber State, and that's not happening now. Valeika and Panos are the two best big guys on the floor right now. The most productive.
And Panos on the outside to Silveda. That shot is off the mark, but there's that rebound. And talked about the key, the miss, and Ducharme pulls down the errant shot.
2 offensive rebounds already for Weber State against Stu's team.
Clark has the ball stripped again. Quick hands of Van Brocklin. And at Weber State backcourt. Valeika puts it on the floor, goes to the rim and is fouled. No, he stepped out of bounds. Turned the ball over. Substitution now for Utah State. Desmond Stevens comes into the lineup. Also checking in for the Aggies. Well, I think that's it. Just the Spraggins comes in. DeAndre Spraggins is in the lineup.
Stevens working with the ball very quick. He's a junior college transfer to Utah State. Not big at about 5'9", but extremely quick around the floor, and Van Brocklin's trying to keep up with him here.
Wilkinson, 2-point basket. Gary Wilkinson is on the board.
Their first field goal of the game, and we're almost 4 minutes into it.
Now the Wildcats will bring the ball up. Desmond Harris, and Stevens runs into a Valeika pick and is shaking the cobwebs. Meantime, all the way to the rim is Desmond Harris. Wow, that was some kind of pick that Valeika set. And, you know, your teammates have got to call that out for you.
Absolutely.
Stevens ran into the brick wall.
And they didn't last night against Southern Utah. And he went down like a bag of potatoes at midcourt last night. Same thing just there.
Wilkinson, before the shot, is fouled. And the foul is called on number 40, Steve Panos. And there is a timeout on the floor. Weber State has jumped out to an early lead.